What's up, guys? My name is DubsKennedy, and today I have here with me Shdw44, and together we're going to be discussing the new updates that just dropped on the upcoming franchise Skate. That being said, I said upcoming, and there's a reason for that. We'll get into it later, but we kind of want to do it simple. We'll do a pros and a cons list, starting off with the pros so we can feel a little happy, and then we'll go into some areas that might have cause for concern. Now, the biggest pro for me is that Skate will have crossplay and cross progression on PC, current and last gen consoles. And Shadow, I have a couple of things why I think that's a positive, but what do you think about that?
No, yeah, I think the crossplay will be really cool, just because Skate is very heavily focused on kind of its community aspect and being able to collaborate with your friends and kind of go out and skate with them. So I think it's a good idea. I know we'll get on the cons later, but I do think we can see good examples of this in other games, kind of like Riders Republic, which is a Ubisoft. That one has really good crossplay, and other EA games as well. So I'm excited. I think it's super important, and it'll be cool.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I know back in the day when I was playing Skate 3 and Skate 2, obviously Skate's one of those games where you can have hours of fun just playing solo, creating your own sessions, setting up your own lines. But it really does shine whenever you got your homies on and you all find a spot that you like to shred. Or I know I mean last night I was watching some highlight channels, and there's people doing crazy challenges, and being able to do that with your friends is definitely a big plus. So that's the most obvious pro for me. I would say there's not really a downside to that, to having it more open. I guess also, while I'm thinking about it, skate teams were a thing in Skate 3, and I think now for people, if you wanted to team up with your friends, obviously it's awesome that you're not limited by consoles or who has what. And then for those people who are going to be content creators around Skate or have kind of their own hardcore skate teams, now you really can recruit from whatever pool that you want. You can put together the best team for yourself and not be limited in any way. So definitely big ups there. Super cool that they're thinking about it. Now this next one does kind of have an update. It's kind of the biggest update of the articles that were dropped. Skate is set to be free to play. Again, we'll get into the cons later, but there are some pros. Okay, so right off the bat, they did mention, Full Circle did mention, that there is going to be no pay to win. There's not going to be any areas locked behind a paywall, no loot boxes, no gameplay advantages. And so obviously for me, I'll just start with the first one. I'll start with the first two. No pay to win. I don't know if that needed to be said. It'd be kind of, I guess you could give paid advantages in events, but it'd be kind of weird if you did that in Skate. If you had a board that landed tricks for you easier, that'd be completely against the vibe. No areas locked behind paywalls, though. That's really cool. I think the worst thing you can do for a community-based game is set it up so that X type of player can reach certain area and the other player can't. That kills the vibe completely, especially if it is free to play. And what about you on the no loot boxes, no gameplay advantages?
Yeah, so those are both, I think, really big green flags for me. Obviously the loot box culture in gaming is kind of controversial depending who you talk to. And so having no loot boxes at all is a really good sign for me. There's no risk of them getting greedy and asking players to hold out for that loot box. So that's really cool to me. And then no gameplay advantages. That's really dope, just because you want it to be an even playing field. Obviously, especially in Skate, you want to be the best based on your skill, not something that you paid for. So I think that's always a good sign. And I just hope that they don't turn around on these promises they've made. But yeah, for now, I think no loot boxes, no gameplay advantages. These are both really, really good things for the game.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, it also seems like they are kind of learning from Battlefront 2. Honestly, those 4 points seem like a massive subtweet to Battlefront 2. Obviously, that game, honestly, it was a good game as far as gameplay wise out the box, I felt like. But it had the most egregious monetization practices we've ever seen from a video game, to the point where global governments were getting involved and banning loot boxes in games because of how predatory it was. So I like that they're coming out and stating these things, kind of preemptively addressing the concerns that a consumer would have with an F2P product from EA. That being said, EA has had some of the biggest live service failures: 2042, BF5, like I said, Battlefront 2, and Anthem. They have had some of the most successful ones, namely Apex Legends. We'll get into that later. So it's still kind of a mixed bag for me, but I like that they're being proactive in addressing concerns.
Absolutely, agreed.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into the first con. Mobile game is in development. I'm gonna let you take over on that one.
Yeah, so I saw this one, and it was kind of like a baby red flag to me, just because typically when games release like a mobile version of the game, it's developed separately and much later. So for example, Apex obviously came out on consoles and PC first, and then years later, now I think it only came out recently, they released Apex Mobile. And I think there's a good reason for that, and it's because I'm not in game development, but from the outside looking in, it seems that if you develop both at the same time, both mobile and console PC at the same time, the console and PC versions may be hindered by what they're trying to do with the mobile version of the game, just because naturally a cell phone or a tablet, whatever, is not going to be able to perform at the same level that our PCs or consoles will be able to. And so the fact that they kind of announced these at the same time, I was kind of hesitant to take that as a pro in this situation, just because of the reasons I've stated. I'm kind of nervous that maybe things that they want to do will be hindered by the fact that they're also trying to port it to mobile devices. So I could be wrong. Like, this is all just speculation, obviously. I could totally be wrong, and they could have a totally separate team working on the mobile version as opposed to the console PC, which would be dope. I think that's the way to go for sure. But it did give me a little bit of a little pause in reading that and hearing that, just because I just don't want it to be hindered by the possibilities, because this is the first skate game we've gotten in like 10 years or so. It's more than that, maybe.
And I for me too, like I didn't really I can't really tell based off of the wording, but like I want to make sure that when they say, they already said they have cross progression, that like the mobile app is not involved in at least the crossplay aspect. I don't really care if you can go on your phone and like keep earning rewards. Like, I don't know if you're doing I hope there's a story. Let me just say that I hope there's a story, because I haven't heard that. Skate 3 story wasn't illustrious, but I do like the idea of building your brand, quote unquote, in the skate world. That was cool, and unlocking cosmetics, right? So as far as mobile goes, like if there is a story and you're playing through the story on your phone, that's fine. You're unlocking cosmetics for when you get back home. But I don't know that I want to play on a game where the mobile crossplay is also linking up with consoles, and because maybe they're geniuses, but I just don't know how you can mix those two different systems, because it's like very different control schemes. Maybe I'm an idiot though. I don't know.
No, I think it's a valid concern, and I guess we'll just have to see. Hopefully our concerns are unfounded, but we'll see.
All right, and then my next con. So according to a article on PC Gamer N, which will be linked down in the description, they got a hold of Chris Perry, who is the creative director on Skate, and he was quoted as saying that the new game is not a sequel, remake, reboot, or remaster of the original Skate, but something new. And then he further states, "We're in it for the long haul." Now, when I read this the first time, I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. And then like, as I'm rereading it and thinking about it, right, one of the things that kind of pops up is that the way that it's worded, one, it's not a sequel, remake, reboot, or remaster of the original Skate. I would be okay if they said it's not a remake or a remaster, but this is supposed to be based off of the old. You have the same Skate logos and everything, So it's not a reboot and it's not a sequel though. Right? So
Yeah.
to me that makes me think like, well, what exactly do you think this game is? Like where exactly are you going with this project? Cuz it'd be like, you know, taking Call of Duty and like being like, yeah, so Modern Warfare 2, it's not going to be a sequel of Modern Warfare. It's not going to be a remake or a reboot. It's going to be its own new thing, right? It's like, so what does that mean? You're not going to have guns or no campaign? Like, what's going on? What does that mean? And so that to me was like a slight red flag. There isn't really too much to dig into there, but it was a little bit concerning. And then also when he states we're in it for the long haul, right? So obviously I think at this point we kind of understand that this is going to be a live service game. But when you say things like that, to me, it really sends a red flag that this could mean that this is potentially the last Skate game we get, which is concerning, right? Since this isn't a sequel, this isn't a $60 game. They're not trying to reboot the franchise per se. This means that it could be, you know, from this point on, like it's going to be this Skate game and we hope this does well. If it doesn't do well, are they going to pull the plug? And then for me, again, like I said, I personally don't like the wording that the new game is not a sequel, just because, you know, to kind of rehash it, I do think most Skate fans just wanted a sequel. Like, I don't think that I personally, I would have been okay with a remake or a remaster or a reboot. I definitely would have been okay with the sequel. Like you just said that the game is all of these things that I'm pretty sure every Skate fan was like, man, I just wish they would do one of them. So it's just kind of like, what's going on here? I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel the same way you do. You encapsulated that perfectly. Because taking out all of these like sequel, remake, reboot, remaster, like what is it? I think is the question everybody has at this point, if it's not any of these. And I think that's definitely, I think it was carefully chosen, the wording, and that could be because they want to temper fans maybe expectations, which would suck because we're all expecting something dope and awesome. And so by them saying this, maybe they're like, well, you know, it's not any of these things, so whatever you're expecting, kind of like get rid of that. And expect this to be something completely new and fresh. And so
that is,
yeah,
no,
I don't.
That is an interesting point, because actually, you know, one of the things they keep saying is like, we're still working on it. Which, I mean, you look at the videos and it looks pretty good. I will say, like, everything looks good right now. Really does, honestly. It's like, videos alone, like, is exciting. I mean, but then again, the 2042 videos, Battlefield 2042 videos, were also exciting. And I lost $100 that I'll never get back.
A lot of people
but
did.
they do seem to be tempering expectations a lot.
Yeah.
Which I can understand, because like Skate is a love franchise and you might have a lot of people that are overhyping themselves and setting the bar too high, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
And we'll hope for the best. But that does bring us into like the second big con for me. Or kind of issues, really. I don't know if it's a con, it's just more like question marks, right? Free to play issues. First biggest thing. So no pay to win or anything like that, but it is going to be funded by cosmetics. So that's concerning to me, just because cosmetics were a big part of the Skate games for me. You know, being able to customize my character on a daily basis was part of my experience. I was one of those like super Skate nerds who like tried to create one of the most realistic Skate line and, you know, have a realistic montage. I'll probably put that in this video later for you guys to see. That was me. So part of it was like, well, technically this is New Day and I want them to think we're skating. Like I got into it. Okay. So not being able to have that ability to customize as much as I'd want to is kind of a concerning to me. I'll say that hopefully, I mean, I don't think it is EA, but I'm hoping they're not that dumb. I'll say Skate still needs to have plenty of earnable cosmetics, and I'm assuming they'll have that. Because yeah, just locking player expression in Skate behind a paywall in a game like Skate is just a bad idea to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I struggle to imagine how it will work in a game like Skate, because we see cosmetics funding games in things like Fortnite and Apex, things like that. Different type of game, but in this game it's kind of weird because like personality and your skater's identity is a huge part of the game, and like you said, it's kind of core to the experience, and so kind of locking that behind a paywall is strange to me, and it feels a little off for Skate.
Yeah, and I like how you brought in like Fortnite. Obviously they're taking a lot of inspiration from, like, if you look at like top 20 like live service games, I think Apex is number one, Fortnite's up there, Dota, League of Legends, all of those games, right? And those games specifically, they are free to play, and they make all of their money off of cosmetics. But I think the difference for and I think they also stated in the PC Gamer N article, and I think also the Polygon article, that they are trying to follow after the Apex Legends monetization model. But for all of those games, BRs and MOBAs, right, being able to customize your appearance is just not that important. Like, it really is more of a luxury thing, right? And so people will pay for things for luxuries, but you probably have a good chunk of each of those games' player base that don't have cosmetics, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a skill-based game. It's competitive, People might look at your skin and then they'll move on. But with Skate, kind of like we just touched on, maybe we're beating a dead horse, but it is more of a casual hangout game. It's more of a community game, and so cosmetics and being able to make your character look how you want them to look is a big deal. And I would just hate for like every good cosmetic outside like 3 basic outfits or something to be locked behind a paywall, because that really would just kill the community feel. Also, you got to think about, like, in these games too, like Apex Legends, you could have like 30 bloodhounds running around like in one game. Like, customization just doesn't matter as much. Like, people don't need to necessarily feel unique in that game when you have copies of people running around. So yeah, definitely a concern. Doesn't necessarily have to be a con, so long as they do it right, so long as there are earnable cosmetics and people can feel good about the way that they look without spending money. But it definitely turns into a con if on day one we hop into the game and everybody looks the same. So keep an eye out for that. And then also, just the last thing on cosmetics is that since it is funded by microtransactions, if they don't sell enough cosmetics, right, because at the end of the day too, the weird thing about making Skate cosmetic based, I know a lot of people love funky designs, but skating culture is not high priced or expensive. Like, sure, some of the skate pros are probably wearing expensive brands, but for the most part, it's very casual. It's very like, I could go to Walmart and buy some clothes and be good for skating. So high priced cosmetics could also be a major issue. I don't know that anybody's going to want to spend a lot of money to look like a skater, but then on top of that, are you going to be able to convince people to buy any of these products? And if they don't buy them, well, given the quote that we had from Mr. Cuz earlier, is this going to be a dead game if they don't get enough like money through microtransactions? So for me, like, that's why I wish it was more of a reboot, remake at this point in time, because could have a lot of people and maybe enough people will buy cosmetics, but if that doesn't happen and they don't meet whatever lofty goal they set for themselves, then could be the end of a skate game. Whereas if we just had a $60 copy that we paid for, like, they'd probably be okay with making a new one at some point. So, but we'll see. And then the last con that we have for me, I don't know if you have more, but does F2P mean always online? Playing with players is fun. Always having to play with other people is not fun. It's just thinking about like creating content for streamers, for people who make montages, also even for casual players, right? Skate, at least in 3 and 2, I think 1, I didn't play 1 as much, but does have a collision system, which is good, right? That'd be really weird if you're just walking through people and stuff, but for those who are trying to record sessions, they're doing challenges, or they're just casually enjoying areas, always online, and possibly always having to play with somebody else that you don't know, along with collision, allows for griefing. You know, imagine never being able to do your tricks or your lines or, you know, complete your challenge because you have a group of people that just want to stand in your way or run into you every time you're trying to do something. A horrible experience. I don't know how you feel about that, if you have anything to add on it.
No, those are definitely solid points. The collision system, while entertaining and funny when it happens, you know, accidentally or whatever, I think if it was always online and you were always seeing other players, I think that just naturally other players like to be, you know, trolls or whatever, and so that could lead to a lot of griefing and just kind of ruining the gameplay, especially if you're the kind of person who enjoys making montages or whatever it is. Having other players around at all times could probably get annoying. So I'm hoping that with this always online idea, we do have the option to, you know, take it offline if we choose to. That would probably be the best alternative. Or maybe, you know, when we're getting ready to do a video or a montage, we can turn off other players or something like that. I hope that they include a feature like that in the game, because otherwise I could see this becoming really annoying.
Yeah, no, I hope that they have like something. I mean, I know in MMOs you have instances for certain areas, where basically it's just you and multiple people can be in the same instance if you want to invite people, or there can be like instances stacked on top of instances, so 100 people could be doing the same thing but you won't see each other.
Yeah.
Preferred system, or really, I mean, that's overly complicated. If you could just take it offline when you want to. Yeah, it needs, you know, it needs to have both. It needs to have sessions or like instances, right? So that you, if you want to do collaborative content with your friends, you can do that and just have the 3 people, 4 people, 10 people that you want in the area with you without randos. And then it also needs to have the ability to take it online or offline, because one, if I don't have an internet connection, not being able to play Skate sounds lame. That was something we had back in Skate 3, so I don't know why you would take it away. If your internet goes down, you should be unable to play Skate. But then 2, also, if you just want to have that session where you're just alone, I guess you could create an instance, but it'd be nice if you could just not have to create an instance for each area that you're going to and just be able to skate through the world on your own. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my pros and cons, or for our pros and cons. As far as the overall state and how excited I am for Skate, I will not lie. I was really hoping to just drop $60 and have a nice complete game with earnable cosmetics. I really just wanted a reboot or a remake, or I don't know why he said all those things, because that's really what I wanted. But that being said, you know, the blessing is that it is free to play. So you're not going to have to drop $60 to potentially play a game that you don't want. And if they ruin it, like, no loss on our end. So for me, why don't we do some 1 through 10s? I'm probably like a 7 for those reasons, that I don't have to pay for it if it's horrible. The game still looks good. If you've watched any of the footage, it still looks like a Skate game. Again, 2042 looked really good, but we'll just hope that the footage is accurate. And if it stays accurate with what I've seen, that looks like a good game to me, and it's free to play. Give it a 7 until I figure out how cosmetics work. What about you, though?
Yeah, so I definitely, I think just based on the gameplay that we have seen, even though it still looks rough, obviously, I would definitely say I'm like, oh man, I'll say 7.5, 7.5. I'll one up you a little bit. And I'll say that because I think there is a silver lining with the free to play. Like you said, we're obviously not going to be dropping $60 on the game, which could be a pro or a con depending on, you know, the quality of the game. But, you know, let's hypothetically say it's dope. You know, it's the best Skate game we've played. And it's free to play. That means we can spend that $60 that we would have spent on the game on whatever you know, cosmetics may need to be purchased, or like the cool stuff that we see in the game. Not that everyone has the $60 to spend, but I think that's a cool choice to have with this free to play model. Just that you're not, you know, you can choose to spend the money. If they have like I don't know, they'll probably have some kind of battle pass or something, I'm assuming, where they, you know, they give their players certain skins or cosmetics, whatever it is.
Yeah, I will say that I believe in the PC Gamer and it's either PC Gamer and or Polygon. Both will be linked in the description. I do think that they said that they're gonna continue to support it with like live events. So it does seem like they'll be like setting up competitions. I'm sure you'll be able to like win some, which that'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty sick, honestly. Especially if it had like a Twitch broadcast or something, like a dedicated skate channel broadcast where they're doing like a big. Dude, it would be, honestly, that would be sick if they, they have Street League every year, right? If they did something like that where like you had qualifiers on X days, you have to put together lines, everything's on hardcore mode or something, because I know they had I don't know if it was called hardcore, but it was like hard mode.
Yeah.
Had to put together some like sick lines, and then it ends with like a gigantic skate Twitch stream where they have like the Street League setup or some other crazy course. That'd be pretty cool. And if they're gonna support people through cosmetics in that way, that's awesome as well. But yeah, I agree. If if the game is sound, my 7 goes from like a 7 to a 12.5. Like it'll be above a 10 because it could be amazing. But make sure I'm not running into people while I'm trying to do a session because they feel like being jerks.
Exactly.
Anyways. But anyways, that's gonna be it for both of us, unless you have something else that you want to add about the skate discussion.
No, I think that's it. I'm definitely stoked to see more videos and release content, stuff like that. See where they take it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, so Shdw44, where can the people find you if they want to find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me mainly on Twitch, Shdw44 on Twitch. That's my channel. I stream a variety of games on there. I'll definitely be streaming Skate when it comes out. And then YouTube, same name, Shdw44. TikTok, pretty much everything. TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. The same name. You can find me there. Come check me out.
Wonderful. Yeah, go give him a follow, a sub on YouTube. As for me, I mean, you're already here. My name's DubsKennedy. That's everything on all my socials. I stream on Twitch sometimes, but I've kind of swapped back to YouTube. And I'm going to be focusing on learning how to edit videos and all that for now. So drop a sub if you like the video. Leave a like. If you made it to this part of the video, drop a random letter in the comments so I know you did. I appreciate you. I love you. We're definitely going to keep covering Skate. I think we're probably going to be looking into covering some more things. Like, I don't know about you, but Hogwarts, that game's coming out. Yeah, we're gonna have to cover that. I plan on trying, I mean, depends on how my work schedule is, but I want to do a Skate stream day one. But yeah, we're definitely gonna keep covering games, mostly the ones that we're interested in, maybe some Pokemon as well. So drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment, and keep up to date. Till next time, thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Later.